The Bygone Days, published in the year 1940. A journey by the Eastern Bengal State Railway today is a carefree and comfortable one. Every amenity that a railway company can provide for the comfort and convenience of the traveler has been introduced, and the journey of 400 odd miles is finished in the waking hours of the morning to the regret of many. With the bridging of the Padma River, the acceleration of the train service has been possible, and the northern terminus Siliguri is reached at the comfortable hour of 6 am. It was not always thus. While enjoying the comforts of modern travel, one regrets the pleasant break in the journey to the foot of the Himalayas provided by the steamer service across the river and dinner aboard ship. This, however, is the only regret. Casting the mind back to the days when khas castatis means mats, curtains used to keep a place cool with fragrance. When khas castatis did duty for electric fans and smelling sometimes leaky castor oil lamps shed a feeble light, the traveler felt thankful the journey by the Eastern Bengal State Railway was performed in daylight, although the horrors of the night were still ahead in a journey from Saraghat to Siliguri by the Northern Bengal State Railway. It was an absolute nightmare, nerve wracking, and a severe strain on the system. Noisy, bumpy, and shaking in all directions, it plodded its way towards the Himalayas regardless of passengers' comforts. It had to get there, and it got there, though many parted with their dinner and their sleep, and then remained but 52 miles by the Darjeeling Hill Railway, which had just cast off its original appellations of a steam railway to take on that of a railway. It had shaken one in all directions, an up and down movement. By the time travelers reached their destination, they were pale and limp. They looked positively ill and done, and when, with the comforts of a fireside in house or hotel, food was put in front of them, the horror of what they had endured in the past 24 hours brought forth a prompt headache and negating the idea of eating. Darjeeling was reached at 4 pm. Things have changed for the very much better all round. The open trolleys on the V railway have been replaced by comfortable carriages, and electricity within recent years has in no small measures helped the avoidance of rushing into landslides. But even in those bygone days, people were thanking an always providence for the introduction of the railways, uncomfortable as it was, which had done away with a previous nightmare of travel, a journey from Calcutta to Bhagalpur, and from there by boat to Karigola, and then the Tonga service from Karigola to Pankabari, the home of the palm leaf fan, so greatly appreciated in the humid atmosphere of the Himalayan foothills, a few hundred feet above the scorched up plains. People are prone to grumble at all times, but when the mind goes back to those days, even though they were childhood's days, there seems to have been every reason for a grumble. From Karigola to Titalia, the military camping ground, sitting up in a tonga with the ear piercing notes of the horn in one's ear most of the time, blown by the attendant to the driver, even at the sight of a slinking jackal. There were tigers also by the wayside in those days, generally brought a sigh of relief at the sight of the walls of the military cemetery ahead. It meant a rest, if not a pleasant halt, 2 miles up the road, and an indifferent meal provided by the Titalia Dak bungalow cook, who departed this life as an extensive landholder. It was a restful break before repeating the experience in the last 25 miles that lay between Titalia and Pankabari via Maligara. The indifferent food and the halt ahead put a different aspect on the last stage of the journey. The giant trees of the swamp, for this is the meaning of the word terai, with orchids of many varieties hanging from their branches, the quaint thatch covered huts in the village of Mech or Bodo and Dhimal, aborigines, made a scene that still lies impressed on the mind. Times have indeed changed. The Pankabari Dak Bungalow, with its enviable visitors' book containing names of men who made history and certainly made Darjeeling what it is today, has fallen under the hammer, leaving the old road map, which one rode on diminutive ponies to Kursegaon, and from there by the old military road, abandoned and the haunt of unpleasant animals. The Terai tea planters' Bazaar Coolie alone treads the first half into Kurseong with chits for necessaries. Tea had been introduced in the Terai long prior to the introduction of the North Bengal State Railway, but with the coming of the railway, there can be little doubt the industry received an impetus. The life of the tea planter in those days was a harum-scarum one, sort of sufficient for the day is the evil thereof. One day, Mr. Hurt and Mr. Feltwelt and others journeyed down the line from Siliguri. They alighted at several stations, inspecting tickets and giving advice gratis regarding changes of trains and the best means of arriving at Euston and Paddington. At one station, the train moved off with its usual jerk before Mr. Hurt and Mr. Feltwelt had reached their own carriage. They made a rush for it. Feltwell got in all right, but Hurt slipped and fell, and but for Feltwelt making a grab at him and dragging him bodily into the carriage, he would have been seriously injured, if not killed. The station master, noticing the accident, stopped the train for enquiries of names and addresses. On asking Hurt his name, he replied, "I am Hurt." "I know that, sir," said the station master. "But what is your name?" "I am Hurt." "My God, sir, I know that and will report accordingly, but I must have your name." "I am Hurt, I tell you." Turning to Feltwelt in disgust, the poor station master enquired his name. "I? Feltwell." "I know, sir, you're all right, but the other gentleman is Hurt." "Yes, quite right, station master." The station master gave up. What he reported is not on the record, as these probably have been burnt long ago, but the fact remains that it cost these two planters rupees 25 each for breaking rules, boarding a train while in motion. Thank you very much. Now some of the words used in the above passage and their meanings. The bygone days. Bygone spelling BY-GONE. Bygone means belonging to an earlier time. Every amenity that a railway company can provide for the comfort and convenience of the traveller has been introduced. Amenity. AMENITY. Amenity means a facility or service which makes life more comfortable. Amenity. AMENITY. Amenity means a facility or service which makes life more comfortable. It plodded its way towards the Himalayas. Plod. PLOD. Plod means move or walk heavily and slowly. Plod means move or walk heavily and slowly. And then remained but 52 miles by the Darjeeling Hill Railway, which had just cast off its original appellation of a steam railway. Cast off. CASTOFF. Cast off means discard something unwanted. Cast off means discard something unwanted. Appellation. 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 Appellation means a name or title. They looked positively ill and done, and when, with the comforts of a fireside in house or hotel, food was put in front of them, the horror of what they had endured in the past 24 hours brought forth a prompt headshake, negating the idea of eating. Negate. NEGATE. Negate means to cause something to have no effect. A slinking jackal. Slinking. SLINK. Slink means move smoothly and quietly with gliding steps in a stealthy manner. Slink. SLINK. Slink means move smoothly and quietly with gliding steps in a stealthy manner. It meant a rest, if not a pleasant halt, 2 miles up the road, and an indifferent meal provided by the Titilia Dag Bungalow cook. Indifferent, Indifferent. Indifferent means neither good nor bad, mediocre. Indifferent means neither good nor bad, mediocre. The giant trees of the swamp, for this is the meaning of the word terai, with orchids of many varieties hanging from their branches, the quaint thatch covered huts in the village of Mech or Bodo. Quaint, Quaint, quaint means attractively unusual, old fashioned. Quaint means attractively unusual, old fashioned. Times have indeed changed. The Pankabari Dak Bungalow, with its enviable visitors book containing names of men who made history and certainly made Darjeeling what it is today, has fallen under the hammer. Fall under hammer means to be sold at an auction. Fall under hammer means to be sold at an auction. The life of the tea planter in those days was a harum-scarum one. Harum-scarum, Harum harum hyphen scarum. Harum-scarum means reckless. Harum-scarum means behave in an uncontrolled way. They alighted at several stations, inspecting tickets and giving advice gratis. Gratis spelling gratis. Gratis means without charge, free. Gratis means without charge, free. Tea had been introduced in the Terai long prior to the introduction of the Northern Bengal State Railway, but with the coming of the railway, there can be little doubt that the industry has received an impetus. Impetus spelling Impetus. Impetus means something that makes a process or activity happen more quickly. Impetus means something that makes a process or activity happen more quickly. Thank you very much.